Breaking tonight, Homeland Security Secretary Kirstjen Nielsen holds an emergency phone call saying we need to treat the border crisis like a, quote, Category 5 hurricane. That's what she says this is. More agents right now making their way towards our southern border as I speak, all to help with this surge of migrants heading north to our country. As border apprehensions start to break 100,000, imagine that, 100,000 per month. Joining me right now, Counselor to the President, Kellyanne Conway. So great to see you again, Kellyanne. Good to have you back on the show.
Thank you, Trish.
All right. You guys say this is a crisis. Tell me why it is.
There's no question. And we even have President Obama's former Homeland Security, Jay Johnson, referring it to as a crisis. We've heard ICE agents who are completely non-political have worked as career folks, not political appointees, saying they've never seen a crisis like this. And whether you use the terminology or not, you can't deny the numbers. We are seeing historic trends, 76,000 migrants presenting themselves at the border, over 100,000 apprehensions last month, 4,000 in one day alone. And we can be on track for 1 million in a year if you keep pace with that. But apart from that, just think of what Customs and Border Patrol is doing, what they're asking for. They're asking for more resources, more personnel, better physical security at the border. And the president has said that he would consider shutting down the ports of entry because we just can't sustain the influx. The Secretary of Homeland Security, Kirstjen Nielsen, last night had the call with the cabinet. I was on that call, and she is analogizing it to a Cat 5 hurricane to get people's attention because some natural disasters, some crises present themselves almost immediately. Others present themselves over time. And that's what we have now because the executive branch has been acting on this crisis since day one of President Trump's administration. But it's time for the other two branches of government, the judiciary and the Congress, to step in and do their job. So what is the fix? Let's get Congress to fix a couple of loopholes. The TVPRA, which basically is a magnet for young kids to come here and then be recycled, be as like a conveyor belt of kids, bring them back again and again because an adult can come through with a child that way. That's a fix Congress can do. The other fix is for the Flores decision. Flores means that we have to treat adults and children differently after 20 days. We can't keep them together. We'd like to keep them together. We'd like to return the minors to their home countries safely and securely. So Congress can act. They can get together and do this in a matter of hours, and we hope they do. But until they do act, this president and this administration is going to continue to shine a light and get more resources at the border. The drugs themselves would justify the president's action. These drugs are coming into all of our communities. Many of them are coming through the southern border, not just through the ports of entry, but between the ports of entry. Customs and Border Patrol says that nearly 400 pounds of fentanyl was interdicted outside of the ports of entry in FY18. That's enough to kill every man, woman, and child in this country.
Listen, the reason I say, why is it a crisis is because I think in some ways the administration, at least as far as the left is concerned, has lost this argument. They're out there saying, no crisis, this whole thing is made up. But there's a humanitarian aspect to this that I think a lot of people are missing. Walk us through that, because there are a lot of kids, there are a lot of women that are really, in some ways, being sacrificed as a result of, some lousy planning, frankly, on behalf of us.
Well, I also think they're being lied to by these coyotes, certainly, who take their life savings and promise them a peaceful rite of passage, a journey northward, and that trek is dangerous, and there is no guarantee at the end of the trek. And so we don't want them to be lied to. Also, the president's been very clear that he'll cut off funding to Northern Triangle countries if they don't start helping us to inform their citizenry.
Because he has
also women
that.
Are sexually assaulted and the kids are used. And by the way, one thing I've been arguing for, let's start showing what happens to those kids who are released into the interior of the U.S. The idea, Trish, that all these kids who are released into the interior because the law compels us to do so just go into the Disney World or the playground of the U.S. is folly. Some of them are sex trafficked. Some of them die on the journey. Some of them, yes, are joined with family members or sponsors. But that's not true of all of them, and you know that. If you really care about kids at the border, you wouldn't just let them come in here, and you wouldn't let them have that dangerous trek where DHS says they're making 70 medical calls a day.
And by the way, they'll say you're being inhumane for saying such a thing. But I hear you, and it's a lot of unintended consequences.
They're being blind and also cushy.
Let me ask you this. So the president keeps saying he's going to shut the border. If we don't have the adequate resources to police this, then he is willing, he says, to shut it down. You know I know, everyone knows, he knows that comes with serious economic consequences. Is he really and truly willing to do that, Kellyanne?
The president himself yesterday said, Trish, that he's more interested in safety and security than trade right now.
Okay.
And he believes that the safety and security of the American people, our sovereignty, is a better argument than the rising cost of avocados. At the same time, which I see more and more people mentioning as an unintended consequence of shutting down the border. Mm-hmm. I get it, everybody. I get it. But let's talk about the more serious issue here of the drugs pouring over the border, the sex trafficking, the MS-13 gangs. And then, of course, just as you say, it's not just a security crisis. It is a humanitarian crisis. Fortunately, more of the mainstream media outlets in print and on TV are playing the footage and showing people a fuller story, Trish, of what exactly happens when you present at the border, when you're trying to come under holes in the fencing, for example. These are not good conditions. We want people to come here legally, be one of the 33 million immigrants who have come here legally. We're the most generous nation in the world to immigrants, and we will continue to be.
Listen,
but also,
you know what? And I just want to get one thing out of the way.
There's economic consequence, but we're trying to mitigate that.
There's an opportunity here. There's an opportunity for this president to really engage in meaningful immigration reform and bring the right people here, people who want to work, who want to be Americans. And that's an opportunity. I frankly, Kellyanne, I think the left is a little intimidated by that.
In the Trump economy. We have the jobs available in the Trump economy.
Look,
we need to fill those jobs. So people need to come here legally and safely. Yeah. This is not a safe journey.
Let me get to some other news of the day. Joe Biden obviously making some headlines here from some situations, in some cases months ago or years ago. What do you make of the Joe Biden news?
Well, this is a party I see they're talking about where do we draw the line. It's just his physical way. I have two words for them, Brett Kavanaugh. That man's nomination was derailed, and they wanted to destroy him as an individual, his family, his reputation, his career, anything they can get their hands on to prevent him from taking a United States Supreme Court seat to being confirmed by the Senate. And if you go back and you play tape, and you had all those other people saying, but that's not the Brett I know, just as they're saying, that's not the Joe Biden I know, that's not the I mean, there was no evidence. There was a woman's testimony from 34 years earlier, and none of that was ever proven. Brett Kavanaugh, fortunately, the good guys won, but not before so much reputational damage was trying to be inflicted, destroy him, destroy his reputation. The other thing is that Joe Biden, at his age, he's somebody who was affectionate, I guess, in hugging and maybe kissing and sniffing people's hair, which is weird. For years, long before the Me Too movement said you practically can't, shake a woman's hand without asking her permission first. I warned everybody during the campaign, after the Access Hollywood tape, and I said, you're making a big mistake putting you look really nice in that dress on the same spectrum as rape, and everything else is included and called sexual assault. That's a big mistake, but they made it. They went all in to try to win an election that they lost, without collusion, by the way, and they went all in after that to try to destroy a Supreme Court nominee. There's a big difference between what Harvey Weinstein has done, bringing women allegedly into isolated places where they can't defend themselves, and maybe offering them jobs or making them feel like they need to comply with his
kind of sounds like you're defending Joe
predatory.
Biden. It sounds like, maybe you don't like the moves, but... Huh?
No. I'm the one who came out on Sunday on your network and said, if you type in Creepy Joe videos, you come up with a treasure trove. So I'll say it again, and people have done it since. No, I'm not defending him. What I'm saying is that in 2019, people are being judged for conduct that they did years ago by these standards. It's the Democratic Party that has pushed it so far, and it's Democratic opponents of his, like Elizabeth
so it's coming
Warren,
back to bite
like
him, in
Amy
other words.
Klobuchar, have said,
yeah.
You've got to explain. Also, I just marvel that the two people who are polling the best in the Democratic primary right now in most states and nationwide are Joe Biden and Bernie Sanders. It's the old white male career politicians, not exactly what the Democrats had planned for their 2020 race. And Joe Biden, I think this is the worst rollout of a campaign. First, Stacey Abrams basically said, thanks but no thanks, being your VP. If I run, Stacey Abrams says, I'm going to go for the whole thing. Thanks, but no thanks. She rebuffed his advances, so to speak. And then Joe Biden has just all these people coming forward saying, that is a pattern of conduct, and it's kind of weird. Nancy Pelosi
it seems like I guess they kind of want to
extended stiff arms.
Take them down.
So I'm not defending, but I am bemused that people who went whole hog are now saying, where's the line? Where do we stop? Isn't there a difference when it's somebody of their own party who they think can beat Donald Trump for president, even though he can't?
Really quick, we just got this news crossing right now, just breaking. The Democrats, boy, they just don't want to give this president a break. They're now asking for 6 years of President Trump's tax returns from the IRS. Are they going to get it?
Well, they're harming the country. This is not oversight. This is overreach. And because they can't indict and impeach him, they want to embarrass and harass him and those around him. And America sees it for what it is. The Mueller investigation will have been seen as the definitive, deliberative, full, fair, thorough investigation, not just into collusion, but into all the different chutes and ladders where it eventually went. So anything now in the Congress will be seen through a partisan lens by many Americans. They will say, I'm sorry, we spent $30 million and 22 months investigating everything. And now only one person can actually request this over a very long-standing law. And his name is Richard Neal, because he's the chairman of the Ways and Means Committee. And I would say to you that he had good meetings with Secretary Mnuchin about infrastructure. He told CNN in March that he had talked to the president about infrastructure. And all of a sudden, I guess the pressure is on him to request these tax returns. But this is because the Democrats put everything, they put all their eggs in the collusion, impeachment, indictment basket. And they were promising things, these chairmen of these powerful committees, on TV more than they are in the hearings on the committees that they represent,
that was a mistake,
that they chair, Trish, and they didn't come up with that. So this is new breaking news, but I will tell you that people have been wanting to do this for a long time. But I look at it right now as harassment.
Kellyanne, so good to see you. Thank you so much for taking the time tonight.
Thank you, Trish. Take care.